Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with selections for Friday, the 3rd of June. But first, a quick recap on yesterday's performance. Well, according to my figures, I think we put £36 on and it was £47 return. So a nice day, another profit. My actual nap of the day ran quite disappointing, highway great. I thought it came to win the race on the outside, but it found absolutely nothing. I think it came sixth in the end, I think it was, where they were paying on the first four. So even a bit unlucky on not to get the payout. But anyway, on to Friday. I'm providing you with two lucky 15s today. The first one is a bigger price lucky 15. I just find these horses interesting, and I think they're too big a price. Don't get me wrong, they might come absolutely nowhere, but I just find them there's a little bit of an angle to all of them. I'm not going to go through each one individually. I probably will touch on them very briefly, but otherwise it's going to take all day. But let's get into it. So the first bet is a 20 pence each way, lucky 15. This is the bigger priced selections in this bet. So it's a 20 pence each way, lucky 15, and £1 each way on each selection. The first selection is the Great Phoenix at 22 to 1 in the 150 at market Rasen. There's doubts over the first three in the betting. The first selection, sorry, not the first selection, the favourite in the race has never run over hurdles. Yes, it could be way above these lot. The next two in the betting have both ran a bit disappointing recently, so I think there could be a chance of a place being up for grabs. This course, sorry, can't speak, and this horse could be the one that like seizes the opportunity. I think 22 to 1 is too big. The second selection is Jungle Bee at 18 to 1 in the 19 minutes past 2 race at Catterick. This horse had cheap pieces for the first time last time, and although looking at the race you wouldn't think it ran that well, but it led a very long way out. Well, I think if it runs exactly the same race at Catterick or the same tactics, it could make them go. And Timmy Easterby's stable are just beginning to hit a bit of form. Obviously now we're hitting the June month. The third selection is Barranco at 10 to 1 in the 225 at Market Rasen. This horse has recently changed stables. It ran very free last time, and I think changing stables, and I think they could utilise that by taking this horse to Market Rasen and maybe, hopefully, getting an uncontested lead. And I think it could ask a few questions of the other horses. 10 to 1, I believe, is too big a price. And finally for this bet is Gordon's Jet at 33 to 1 in the 254 at Catterick. This horse reappeared. Bearing in mind, this is a half-decent jumping horse. Yeah, they don't always translate back onto the flat. Sometimes they can be a bit overrated. They think they're much better than what they actually are when they come to the flat, and normally don't run too well. But this horse reappeared on the flat. It ran to a racing post rating of 53. Well, that's not fantastic, but I looked in the race, and it was a very, very hot race for a maiden at Newcastle. I think the winner had a racing post rating of about 89 or 90, and I went through to about 5th or 6th place, and they were still rated in the 70s. Well, I can understand this horse not actually be able to compete in that race, but this is a poor race with question marks over quite a few. So I think it could be competitive, and I think 33 to 1 is far too big a price. So the next selections is the main bet of the day. It's a 25 pence each way, lucky 31. The first selection is Shandy Star at 12 to 1 in the 2 o'clock at Epsom. And this is a money bite if you come second, third, or fourth. Well, I'm not putting a horse in this race for that reason. I think this horse is progressive. It ran just a couple of days ago, so it could quite easily be a non-runner, which would turn the bet into luck 15. But I think it came up against quite a progressive horse. Well, or they think a lot of it. That it came up against 2 runs ago. It's not 2 days ago. It pulled clear of the third. It wasn't a great race, but I do think it's heading in the right direction. I find it interesting the fact that they're bringing it out from just 2 days ago. So maybe it's really beginning to find its feet. It made its debut in a listed race, a listed 2-yard race at York. It did look a little bit green, but it did show signs of ability, but until fading late on. The second selection is Oh This Is Us at 11-2 in the 235 at Epsom, paying 6 places instead of 4. This horse was rated so much higher in the last few years. It's got a cracking record at Epsom. I know Richard Annan's always said something about this horse as in like it's always trained the best at home or something, or it's always been one of the best in its homework. Well, it's had quite a few jockeys, and it's also ran quite a few times at Epsom. The majority of time running well. I do think this horse. This is about the shortest price it's been in quite a few races recently, and I think today could be the day. The third selection is Catterick at 7-1 in the 345 at Epsom, paying 5 places instead of 3. Catterick has also run well at Epsom in the past. I think with Tom Markman on board, I think a power pack finish could see it take the spoils. The fourth selection is Moon de Vega at 28-1 in the Oaks, paying 4 places instead of 3. This horse is very progressive. Bearing in mind it was very green last year, but every single one of its runs has been an improvement. Well, this run is going to have to be an improvement as well, because obviously it's the Oaks, but it's not as far behind these horses as you might think it is. It ran okay last time at Chester in a better race behind one of the runners that runs in this race today, but it was very badly hampered. Just turned into the straight. Well, straight away from that point it got no chance, but it did run on again. It does seem to be shaping quite nicely, and Ralph Beckett has got a cracking record in the Oaks, so I think it could sneak a place. I think it'll certainly improve anyway. And finally, Nuvolari at 5-1 in the 545 at Epsom, paying 6 places instead of 4. Well, Joe Fanning has to do 8 stone 5. Well, he doesn't. 8 stone 3. I think it is. He doesn't do these weights very often. This horse won on its debut at Epsom. It track leaders raced keenly and won nicely. Since then, it's generally just ran keen but held up towards the back. Well, I've looked in the race and I don't really see a pace angle. So I think that, especially with Joe Fanning riding this, because Joe Fanning is renowned for riding horses from the front, mainly for Mark Johnston, but I can't see a pace angle in this race. So I think this horse could potentially go straight to the front and hopefully make all. So we'll see how that bet goes. But yeah, those are my selections for today. The very best of luck. If you can just give this video a like or subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. So fingers crossed on what is a busy day. Charlie Winters over and out. Cheers, mate.